So today we're having kind of an informal conversation about some tips for success for students, and so if you guys want to tune in and kind of join in, feel free. So I know the first thing we got like kind of want to talk about is definitely planning ahead. So I know that's a big part of a student's life is planning ahead. So what do you guys think about, what sort of things are we going to want to plan ahead for?
I think something that's important to plan ahead for is financial aid, because it usually takes longer than you expect, so you don't know how long it will take, so that's definitely a good thing to plan ahead for.
Yeah, definitely. And then checking the due dates on financial aid, because I know the financial aid process itself is, it's pretty just straightforward, step one, step two. It's just really figuring out those dates, knowing when to turn in all your paperwork for applying and different things like that.
Another thing is plan ahead and show up here on time before, so then you have parking and stuff.
Yeah, definitely to go along with that, maybe show up before your classes even start the semester and figure out where your classes are so you know ahead so you're not late to any of your classes.
Yeah, that's a good one. Just do a drive-by.
Yeah.
It's just at least locate your building, That way the first day of class you're not scrambling.
Yeah.
And especially being a new student.
Yeah.
Being a new student, not knowing where all these different buildings were, I know that was tough for me. So kind of figuring out, even before school actually starts, before you have your first class, kind of walk around the campus, just look at the signs, look at, oh, this building is this, and then that way you can kind of find the room number based off of what that is. And yeah, definitely.
That'll help you figure out what's available at the college too, so you've got a gym and everything.
Yeah, exactly. You can touch up on, kind of those different things that are out there. Because I know the campus is open for a little bit of time before classes actually start, so, throughout the summer and stuff. But, that's a really good thing.
Well, you already have enough stress the first day of class, so eliminating, at least knowing where you're going and stuff, eliminate that. Everything you can before, that first class. So
exactly. And I know one thing we wanted to talk about too was kind of with planning ahead is getting to know your advisor. So I know that was a huge step for a lot of us. I know it was really good that you met with our advisor.
Yeah. She really helped me. How did it work out? I just made the call, and she helped me kind of narrow down what classes would be good for what I'm doing, what my plan is, and that helped me eliminate a lot of frustration and a lot of useless classes that I may have gone into. She's very helpful. So definitely utilize your advisor.
Yeah, and getting to know them before you actually start your classes, it kind of goes hand in hand with planning ahead. I mean, when you really want to have a path set out, and I think, this can be branched off into multiple different things, but, knowing that advisor and knowing what program you want to be in is going to be a huge factor.
And that way he is learning about you and get you in the right place.
Exactly. I mean, you don't want to be blindly picking classes, because that way, I know a lot of students like to get their general education done and out of the way, but for that student that knows exactly what they want to do, you want to make sure that you're not taking unnecessary classes. Certain programs don't require this math course, or certain programs don't require this level of English, so you don't want to be throwing money at something you don't actually need. So I think that's a big part of the advisor, is just giving you guidance. And another thing we've got written down here is get enough sleep and food before class. Especially if you have early classes. I know it can get kind of tough. We're in an earlier-ish class right now. And I've taken classes that have been at 8 in the morning. And yeah, making sure that you're awake and paying attention.
Yeah, math class, it's at 8 o'clock, and it's definitely good to get up and get going before you go to class. So you're kind of into the flow when you're there at class, instead of having to sleep.
Especially with math.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I know that if I eat food before, or at least have a juice or something, my brain works better, I think better, I can concentrate more in class. Like, it makes a big difference. So, that's definitely.
But what is going to get us to class? We need to remember, we need to focus, we need our big picture out there, and so that we can focus on why we're going to go to class and succeed and
Yeah.
get our degrees.
Definitely. And I think that comes into one of our other topics is the My Plan. The My Plan, you know, taking this, that's kind of goes hand in hand with Plan Ahead again, but the My Plan is set up to kind of direct students and kind of take what their attributes are and put them into something that they're actually going to be interested in. So when it comes to, you know, actually having a greater purpose for what you're doing, I think that's huge. I mean, we just talked about earlier today about how graduation rate is kind of low. And I think that's because students don't really care about the monumental factor, you know, the money that they're throwing at a program. The reason that they're, you know, not graduating is because they're not actually interested in what they're studying. I think that would be a big difference if, you know, everybody took the Plan Ahead method and did My Plan before, you know, moving into a class. You guys think so too?
Well, yeah, the myplan.com thing, it evaluates your strengths and weaknesses, and then it like picks jobs that are geared towards your learning style, towards your interests, basically, like you said. I mean, I know for me, I do way better in classes than I'm interested in, and that helps you kind of narrow down what you're good at, what your interests are, and you may as well utilize what you're good at instead of trying to force something that's not as natural. You know what I mean? And that helps you to, you know, narrow that down.
Well, I know, like for the business management program for you guys, I know for me, I just click with a lot of classes. I know I took a human relations class and it's been like one of my favorite classes.
Yeah.
And all you do is, you know, you figure out how to relate with people, and that's huge in business. I don't know if you guys, what do you guys do? Like, you relate with people every single day, not even in just classes. You know, in your job, you know, it's huge. So if you can find something that you just click with, I think that makes a big difference.
You're going to be doing that your whole life, so it's not just for school, it's or for work. I mean, your interactions with, you know, day-to-day life, relationships, everything. That class was helpful for sure. So.
And kind of going with, you know, relating with everybody. I know for our orientation we did a clubs and events section, and we talked about kind of how getting involved with other people is going to be, you know, that's a big detrimental factor. I know with being a business major, I believe myself that 90% of business is people. You know, that's where business comes from. You know, they really want to trust the person they're doing business with. It's a complete relationship building process. So I don't know, what do you guys think?
How to go with that, just getting to learn your classmates, it'll make you feel more comfortable in your class and everything, because I remember coming the first time and I didn't really want to, I just wanted to get my work done and get out. But it does help you in success of your class, is getting to know everybody, and they'll help you out too. You know, you can help them, they can help you out. So.
And even in, I have a communications class, and that has really helped quite a bit with even just communicating with other people.
Exactly. And it's funny because when you look into communication, so much of it's body language. You know, just learning how to relate with those people. You know, I think it's something like 80%. The numbers are all over the place with that, but body language makes up for so much of how we communicate. So just kind of taking human relations and the other courses that are required in a lot of different fields, Comm 101, you know, that's really important that you make sure you get to know all your peers. I know we probably wouldn't be doing this right now if we didn't somewhat know each other, been in classes together. I know we've all kind of been in classes together before, so.
Well, we learn from each other.
Yeah, definitely.
And we're, as being older and not so much wiser, because I'm learning from the younger ones. And I'm reminded about time management and how you're talking about time management. You need to write things down, not detailed, like you said, because what I'm learning is tomorrow afternoon I have free, and if I just put homework, and I sit down, I have a place to sit, I need to, again, planning, you need to realize where you're going to sit at home, and I sit there, and for me, and it may be because I'm older, I hope that you guys younger will, it takes 20 to 45 minutes to really even get into what I'm doing, what I want to do, and then I'm on a roll, and then unfortunately then the interruptions, you got to plan around the interruptions, and even though that you guys are younger, you have jobs, and I know that there's probably your social life,
Oh, yeah.
and then your family. There's a lot of things that we have to, again, go back to that focus.
Exactly.
Just kind of going along with what she said is, it would help you to be successful to schedule and use your planner. So schedule out your homework and the things that you needed to get done for class. Use a planner and don't procrastinate, because procrastinating can definitely get you behind very quickly.
That's right. Somebody was saying earlier to check your email, and with your classes, where you're at, and somebody said, and it's true for all of us. Once we get behind, it's hard to get caught back up. I mean,
It stops being fun, you're going along and you're feeling confident, you're getting your assignments done, you get behind and you're just scrambling, and it's like, it's no fun. It's not fun at all, and it's really hard to get back.
And that's how we usually drop classes as well.
Yeah.
Because you just get so far behind.
And students just eventually just lose hope. You know, they think, I'm never going to be able to dig myself out of this hole. And it becomes, like an impossible feat. So it kind of goes with planning ahead again. I feel like you said, if students kept a planner, or I think, kind of in my opinion, every student should have at least somewhat of a schedule. Maybe not a full-blown schedule that lays out every hour what they're doing, but maybe, hey, I'm going to schedule this afternoon to do my homework for the next 2 hours because I got a lot to do. I think if every student did that and picked a day where they would or a day or two where they would take an hour or so and get their homework done, we would start seeing a lot more, people turning in assignments on time and less procrastination.
and if last week you did horrible, this is a new week.
Yeah.
You need to remind yourself it's a new day, and start all over.
Yeah.
I mean, not start all over like that, but attitude ways.
Yeah, your attitude will be huge.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And what you guys are learning too, I can tell, because we've gotten to know each other. College could be fun.
Yeah, it can be fun.
For sure.
I remember doing surveys. That was pretty fun. We went around and we were giving out surveys to people, and yeah, we do some fun stuff, especially if you pick the right major. I mean, as long as you know exactly what you want to do and what attributes best fit you. But college really can be fun, and I think a lot of people forget about that. It's not just boom, boom, work all the time. You can really make it a lot more fluid if you choose to. So I know one other thing we kind of talked about when it comes to picking the right major and stuff is when you actually get that major picked, you kind of want to have goals set in place. So I don't know, in prior classes within the business management program, we've talked about SMART goals, and those are really good. You can break them down into, I think it's, I can't think of that. Yeah, specific, measurable, attainable, timely. Yeah. So, but yeah, just goal setting is big, and I think as long as you can learn to have the big picture up there, but have a bunch of little stepping stones in place to get to that big picture, and a lot of that goes back to meeting with your advisor. They can kind of give you that path to kind of get to that bigger picture.
Talking about making these goals
Yeah.
and having an advisor that will help you. Something that's really important is these other people will take you out of the loop, out of your focus. And if you can have your family and people, we need to be more confident to explain to people that, this is important to us, and we need to, so they don't interrupt with our studying and our goals and temptation of doing other things and going skiing, But if we plan it right, we can still do that.
Exactly.
Kind of what you're saying is pretty much let your family, friends, people know that it's a high priority, your school. So, there's going to be things that come up where you need to stop doing whatever, but this is your homework and stuff. But for the most part, if you let them beforehand know that this is important to you, then they'll respect that. You know what I mean? So,
And they may even motivate you.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
I was hoping, the support.
And I know when it comes to support resources, I know we've got quite a few here on campus. When I was doing the orientation, my section was resources. So I got to touch up on two really cool ones. We have the Career Center and counseling services. And then I touched up on the gym, but that's more of a recreational thing. But
Where did you find the counseling?
counseling services is actually, the Taylor building.
Yeah.
And then you have the first floor there. And then upstairs is the cafeteria.
Yes.
So let's say you're looking straight onto the cafeteria, and it's to the left, and you'll see a hallway, and it's right there, the campus.
It's not where the Senate and things, it's more involved.
Yes,
in
it's more back behind there a little more, and I think it's room 268, and that's where they have everything in there. But if students can really use those, their resources are there to help you. Especially if you don't know what to do, you're getting an associate's degree in business management, but where are you going to put it? Business management has a ton of doors open. Go into the Career Center, go take your My Plan testing, or go do some other type of attribute testing, and they have counselors in place to guide you where to take your degree, or if you're already working in a field you like, what degree to get in order to help you in that field. Yeah.
And it's okay to get help.
Oh, yeah.
And,
That's
that's
what they're
a
there
big
for.
thing
Exactly.
that I've learned is you have to ask. And it's hard.
Yeah, that's the first step. Yeah, for sure. It takes you gotta kind of put your pride and stuff behind for a minute and just ask, and you'll be surprised at how much they can help you.
And you gain new relationships with people that you ask.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what about for online students? Because it's a whole nother realm when it comes to online versus just your normal class. So what do you guys think? What are some tips for them?
I think definitely staying up on your project is a huge thing, because if you get behind, it seems like it takes forever to get caught back up, especially because they keep on adding stuff on top. So definitely staying up on your projects is huge.
Don't procrastinate.
Yeah. Yeah, sort of the same thing with the in-class students, make sure, you just stay on top of everything, planning, schedule.
Again, having a time and a place where you're going to go and open up the computer, and that is your time where you can go in and explore the classes and doing your assignments and the time management. That's the biggest thing when I found out with online, especially when you're at home and you have children and housework and the TV.
Yeah, 'cause it seems like if you don't set a time, you'll never get around to it. It's like, well, let's do it, later tonight, and then late that night, something else comes up, and you don't get around to it. So I feel like you definitely have to set a time I'm going to work 2 hours on this or whatever. So.
And you can use those resources too that we talked about on campus.
Yeah,
You can get
exactly.
them online and speak with the advisors.
Exactly. And I think students shouldn't be afraid of that either, because for me, online classes aren't really my forte. I'm not really, I'm more of an in-front, face-to-face person. And I know some students are a lot more apt to online. So it kind of depends on what you're apt to, but when you're in an online class, I've actually set up meetings with various teachers, You know, just because you're online doesn't mean you can't go meet with the teacher and have a discussion about, you know, a certain project or assignment. You know, they're still there as your teacher and as your professor, you know, to help you. So just shoot them an email and ask them, you know, hey, I've been having trouble with this project. Do you think we can meet up and you can come maybe talk me through it, or kind of give me the synopsis of what it's all about? Because they'd totally be willing to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Like for me, with my online classes that I've taken, I've noticed that I have to be way more proactive, and like communication is even more important since you're not seeing any of your classmates or your teacher. Like if you have questions, like send an email to your teacher, send an email to your team. If you're in a team project, send an email. Like be proactive. Like don't just assume anything. You know, communication and is even more important in an online class. I feel. You know, you have to be you have to be more responsible. You have to be on top of it to check Canvas or Blackboard, whatever it is, often. Your email often, and you know that's helped me. To be, I know that when I'm not doing that, then I'm not as up on what's expected of me, you know. So.
And you've lost your focus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know, like when it comes to online classes, you know, some students are more apt online and some aren't. So I think it's a good idea for someone to meet their advisor before, you know, taking or deciding to enroll in an online class, and ask them, you know, this is kind of my learning style. Would this be a good class for me to take online? You know, and that's a really good way, you know, to kind of figure out, you know, what online classes you should take, if you should take any at all, or you should be taking more online classes. You know, whatever kind of works for you. Everybody's situation is kind of unique, so.
And meet with your advisor face to face, then you're online, you have a face that you're talking to, maybe a little more familiar and easier.
And that can make communication a little bit better too, a little more fluid, for sure. I think we've touched on some really good stuff. I know as far as the tips go, there is a ton out there. And I think one of the big ones is, you know, we do have resources here on campus, whether that be your advisor, your counselor, the career center. I mean, tutoring even. I mean, the
Utilize tutoring, man. They're helpful.
Yeah, especially, you know, like you said, don't get pride inside yourself and not want, be too prideful to actually go and ask for help, because that's, like you said, that's what they're there for, and it can truly help you. So there are resources in place for new students, and even students that are just coming from maybe another college. You know, we have stuff in place. So I think that's probably the most important part. You know, they just need to be able to go out there and grab it and